We have made a lot of progress in regards to equal rights and self-expression. There's no strict, ridiculous dress code where women have to wear frilly dresses and chafing heels and men have to wear suits. Not anymore. We can wear whatever we want. Women can wear pants. And men can wear dresses, although unfortunately, a few people still might raise a stink at that one. And it isn't just clothes either. In the past, the ideal woman was a stick-thin, tanned Barbie doll, and anything else was considered subpar. Now, women who are of color, short, tall, fat, masculine, or disabled don't face the same level of judgment and prejudice that their mothers and grandmothers faced. Ignoring a few select grumpy grouches who are stuck in the year 1950, freedom of expression and equality have made some amazing strides in recent years. It definitely isn't perfect, but it's something. I take classes at Washtenaw Community College, and I absolutely love seeing the diverse student body there. There's a student I see in the halls who sports a pink beard, and another with hair like the Northern Lights. And these people are all shapes and sizes, from every culture and background. But there's just one group that's missing from this lovely picture. All over the world, transgender kids face a scary double standard. I could take an optimistic viewpoint and say that transgender rights are almost equal in this day and age, but the words would feel false and stagnant on my lips. Even with transgender people, and this phrase is lovingly shortened to trans people, being judged, misunderstood, and denied health care, among other things, I want to focus on a different issue, smaller and under the radar. This is the issue of self-expression and how it is still policed in regards to trans people. Trans people simply aren't given the same respect and free reign over self-expression as everyone else. Let me explain. As I said earlier, men and women are gaining much more freedom with self-expression. The rigid chain-link fence separating femininity and masculinity is slowly being torn down. But the men and women I spoke of earlier are only cisgender men and women. The word cisgender is much like the word transgender, where trans means the person in question diverges from the gender they were assigned at birth. Cisgender means the person in question remains with said gender. To clarify further, notice how I didn't say the gender they used to be or anything like that. The very first thing you must understand is that there is a stark difference between sex and gender. Sex is entirely biological. Sex is your chromosomes. Gender, however, is not linked to your body. Gender, as I'm sure some of you have heard before, is a social construct. Gender is little female babies being dressed up in pink and given miniature plastic kitchens as a gift. Gender is something girly. It's the little male babies garbed up in blue being given toy trucks and tools. Gender is something manly. Female and girl are not the same. Female is a sex, while girl is a gender identity. At our society's beginnings, stronger bodies were needed to work the fields, and these bodies usually belonged to males. Children needed to be born and raised, and females were capable of this task. Back in those days, those roles stuck around in order for people to survive, but we are long past basic survival. Those roles are outdated. We are much more knowledgeable, and we live more comfortable lives, full of possibility and a variety of careers that are not based on our sexes. Women do not need to produce offspring, and men don't need to be running a farm, although those are both still valid life choices. And that's where the difference lies. Those things are choices now. We can choose to do whatever we like, and so the link of sex and gender slowly disappears as we pick ideal careers and express ourselves based on our interests, not our bodies. Males can be feminine, females can be masculine, and the gray area between the two, where one presents with both feminine and masculine aspects, is called androgyny. And that's fine too. Transgender people are not people who were born in the wrong body or turned into a girl or anything like that. Transgender people, no matter what chromosomes they possess, were girls from the beginning and boys and so on. Their gender and their body are unique. Some do not feel the need to surgically or chemically alter their bodies. A boy can be female and have breasts. He is still a boy because that is his gender and he knows it. He knows who he is, just like everyone else does. So now that I've covered the basics, let's go back to this idea of how the freedom of self-expression is still sometimes restricted and denied to transgender people. Some people might not understand why people are transgender because they simply haven't been exposed to the matter. Gender isn't covered in school. There are millions of young children out there who have no idea why they feel the way they do because they haven't yet learned the word for their identity. And when people have a very basic grasp of the concept of transgender, They think of a female turning into a very masculine man. They think of Laverne Cox, who is a transgender rights activist and actress. They think of a male turning into a feminine, pretty woman with slim curves and a full chest. Do you see the pattern here? For many people, transgender people are not accepted as such unless they pass as the gender they identify as. The trans men must be masculine, and they must dress and present their body that way. The trans women must be feminine, and they must dress femininely and have a slim, ideal body. Otherwise, they are often seen as gross, or as sexual objects, or as people in between phases, something incomplete. Not as human beings who have the right to express themselves however they want and be regarded as who they are. Why does that right seem only to fall to cisgender people? Why can't trans women be masculine? As I've made plain earlier, woman does not equal feminine, so why should it equal feminine in regard to trans women? Exactly. This is an important issue. All over the world, transgender people feel pressured to conform to society's binary outlook. They often feel pressured and alienated by other people around them if they don't do so. And this fear should not be so deeply rooted in a group of wonderfully diverse individuals. This prejudice needs to be eradicated. So what's the solution? Education, awareness, acceptance. If people know that transgender people exist, if people welcome them into society with open arms, it really isn't long before it all falls into place. As a trans boy myself who hasn't transitioned yet, who appears incredibly feminine and is labeled she by everyone around me, I yearn for a future where people will not mock others based on their appearance and their pronouns. I dream of a world where a chubby, girlish-looking person can wear a dress, but still, if he says his name is Tom and that he's a he, those people will respect him. There will be no backlash or teasing. We will all know that each individual on this planet is exactly that, individual, with our own genders and sexes and appearances and ethnicities and shapes and sizes. I want to live in a presumption-free, respectful world, and I think, and I really hope, that we're already almost there. Thank you.